Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome to Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age Trial Mode. It was my intention to show off all of Trial Mode, but sadly when I went through to try and beat it, I wasn't able to do it. I only got to floor 91, and it didn't work out all that well. So I figured I would upload some of the later floors to show you guys basically what goes on in trial mode. It's a pretty interesting thing. Oh. Yeah, make sure when you go into trial mode you bring in a diamond armlet and the thief's gloves. There are a lot of good treasures that you can only get with the diamond armlet equipped, and a lot of good stuff you can steal from many of the enemies here. Like right there, I just got one of the game's best bows from this trial mode only encounter against Kjörn and a bunch of Viera archers. I really wish I had actually done it, been trying trial mode out throughout the game, rather than just trying to do it right at the very end here. But since I wasn't able to actually beat trial mode, I figured I could at least show off a little bit of it, and so that way you can all get the impression of what it's like. If you're playing the Zodiac Age on the PlayStation 4, you must defeat trial mode in order to unlock New Game Minus, which is an optional difficulty mode to play through the game again with everyone's levels locked to 1. Not as big of a downside as you'd think. As I stated way too much during my playthrough, Final Fantasy XII is a very gear-dependent game, and being locked to level 1 really does not hold your characters back all that much. You do have to change your strategies around a bit, mainly that offensive and support magic, well, not support magic, but like healing spells, those are going to fall off in usefulness as you progress more and more into the game, since your characters can only get to a finite level of magic. These next few floors are really tough. They put you up against a group of elementals led by an Entite. Yeah, lots of interesting challenges, though. It also got me rethinking that all the griping and complaining I did in Final Fantasy XII near the end game, most of it was pretty much unfounded, and I was simply unprepared for everything the game was throwing at me. A harsh reality, but true nonetheless. If you can get ribbons and such, then I'm pretty sure the game gets a lot easier. In fact, you can actually farm them a bit on trial mode. I believe on the 49th floor, or 49th stage of trial mode, you'll end up fighting against Hashmal, and it's possible to steal a ribbon from him. And then near the end, you'll fight some chocobos, and it's possible to steal a ribbon from those too. There is some other stuff you can do to cheese the system and farm ribbons on the 49th stage, but I wouldn't know how to do it, and even if I did, I really wouldn't want to. Alright, I figured I'd show off up to the 70, or not 74. I'm on the 74th. I figured I'd show off up to the 80th stage, but since these are getting a little bit repetitive, I might as well cut it off sooner rather than later. No, I'll get it all the way up to stage 80. Why not? But your challenges, they can include pretty much anything. Well, not anything, but you'll encounter lots of things. Like, I think one of the last few stages I attempted or completed was actually a really, really tough fight against Rickon, the chick who doesn't know what clothes are, and some pirates, and that ended up being the game's really, really, really tough. I barely got past it. And then once I got to floor 91, forget about it. I really should have just changed up my gambit setup. So I guess I probably could beat it. But anyway, trial mode is definitely worth going through, since the very last stage of trial mode has an awesome optional encounter against the 5 judges. Gabranth, Zagabarth, Drace, all of them. And it's a really good challenge. I would recommend giving it a shot. I wish I had made it there. If you're having trouble getting through the game, leveling up, getting good equipment and all that, once you've beaten the game once, you unlock New Game Plus, and that lets you start the game with your character set at level 90. So if you want a highly leveled party to approach challenge mode with, that is the way to go. Go into New Game Plus, make sure you find a lot of good stuff, and then you shouldn't have too much trouble with trial mode. Ribbons and things like that, very helpful, and make sure you have a diamond armlet equipped on somebody, and that you approach it with your 3 best characters. Like right now I'm going with Fran, Ashe, and Bosch, because Ashe was my best damage dealer, especially for dealing with groups. Bosch was my best healer, since he could deal some good damage on his own, and he had stronger heals than Penelo did. And Fran's useful as a tank, since she can keep herself buffed. And then just approach every floor on trial mode like it's a boss fight. So just turn on all those useful buff and such gambits, and shouldn't be too much of a problem. Actually, I say should, but you never know. Life has a way of messing you up. I did get to encounter quite a few of the Espers, and they seem to completely repeat their mechanics. So if you see an Esper once you get to a floor, immediately open the menu and change up your party to handle that Esper. And do note that once you start trial mode, I think you have to go start to finish with whatever equipment and whatever items and equipment and all that stuff you have, and you won't be able to get more, and I think you have to start over again. That's what the loading screen kept telling me when I went to go record a finale, or I tried to re-record the finale so I could avoid the copyright and still get Penelo's commentary in the end there, but of course they didn't let me. Turning off the in-game music muted Penelo's dialogue, and it was sad. One other thing I'd recommend for trial mode is that since they give you a lot of license points, I equipped one of my standby characters with the cat ear hood, so that way, just in case I needed to, I could just throw the turtle shell choker onto Bosch, and he could use money to the loads and loads of cash I was getting in order to cast spells instead of having to rely on his MP. Although it screwed me over a few times where I ended up unequipping it so he'd be immune to status conditions, and he didn't have any MP left. Make sure you're very careful. And I forgot to equip the diamond armlet, so if you don't have the diamond armlet equipped, then the items you're gonna find are consumables like potions, ethers, and the like. And enemies should only drop the same type of items. You shouldn't be seeing any loot, as in like magicite or other things that exist only to be sold. The only stuff you should find are gear, or is gear, as well as consumables. So that way you can do one continuous section of a trial mode challenge. And then every 10 floors you get the option to save your game, and then you can load up that save file in the main game, and you'll have all your good stuff there. So for example, once I get through these 10 floors and save the game, I can load it up on my original file in the main game, and I'll have access to that bow I managed to steal from Kieran near the start. And when you get to these Daikon, and I think the next one has dark elemental ones, yeah, that's when things really get tough. For me, anyway. These guys love to use Dispelga. And as for a gambit to set up for stealing, it might be a good idea to go with one that's faux HP greater than 90% or faux HP 100%. So that way your character automatically tries to steal, and then your other characters will be attacking at the same time, so their HP will drop, while your thief will be making sure to steal something. Not the best solution, but it should work out. And I should have turned off most of my buffing gambits here, since they keep dispelling them, and everyone just takes time out of their busy day to reapply everything. Yeah, this is a situation where having too many people doing the same thing ends badly. And then, making sure you get your backup party members back up on their feet, too. Really helpful. Like fonts and oil. So much dallying about in the menus. One downside to items that I forgot to bring up in the in my initial playthrough is that they have a long cooldown period. Like it takes characters a little while to start using another action after they use an item. Instant use, but then it takes a while to get back on your feet. That was an accident. But it turned out okay, so we're good. And I'm getting a good chain here too. I didn't even notice that. I guess it makes sense. These are all elementals and entites. Alright, back to the original party now. With a lot of their buffing gambits turned off, so I don't waste too much time. And I guess going forward, I've been doing a lot of recording for my next Let's Play, which I've already mentioned a lot at this point, is going to be Spec Ops: The Line. It's been going really well recording so far. I don't think I needed to use my Elgato game capture for it. I think my computer has a program that I could have used to just record right then and there, since I do have it on PC. But I think I'll stick with Elgato for now, since since it's pretty useful for having the video files recorded in there, and then I can re-download them just in case the MP4 file gets corrupted somehow. These guys are sinister. They keep draining my character's MP. And if I'd been smart, I would have left Balthier in, since he can deal holy damage with Excalibur. But I was pretty tired when I was recording this and getting a little frustrated. But anyway, with that cleared, I'll let it show you the rewards that you get. You get rewards after each 10 floors, and then you get the option to save your game. And I'll go ahead and cut this video off here, and I'll see you all next time. Spaced Oyster, signing out.